In the intricate labyrinth of the human mind, where emotions and thoughts intertwine in a constant dance, emotional intelligence emerges as that subtle yet powerful ability to skillfully navigate both the inner world and the complexities of social relationships. Far from being a superficial modern concept, as some might believe, this form of intelligence sinks its roots into ancient philosophy and has been refined by the most recent advances in cognitive psychology and affective neuroscience. It represents that meeting point where the heart and reason cease to oppose each other and begin to collaborate, where emotion illuminates thought and thought gives shape to emotion, thus creating a wiser mind and a more fulfilling life. Emotional intelligence challenges the traditional dichotomy between emotion and reason, showing how both systems, far from being in conflict, need each other for sound decision-making. Pioneering research by neuroscientist Antonio Damasio revealed that patients with lesions in brain areas that connect emotion with cognition, while keeping their IQ intact, were unable to make effective decisions in daily life. This revolutionary finding demonstrated that emotions are not noise that interferes with rational thought, but rather a sophisticated information system that quickly evaluates complex situations and guides our conduct. Without the emotional compass, reason loses its sense of direction, wandering in a sea of possibilities without being able to choose appropriately. In the realm of contemporary organizations, where complexity and interdependence have reached unprecedented levels, emotional intelligence has revealed itself as a more reliable predictor of professional success than IQ or technical skills. Longitudinal studies conducted by the Center for Creative Leadership found that the main reasons for failure in executive positions were rarely related to technical deficiencies, but rather to gaps in emotional competencies. The inability to handle stress, a lack of empathy, poor emotional regulation, or deficient social skills. On the contrary, those leaders who combined technical competence with high emotional intelligence not only rose more quickly, but also created organizational climates where innovation and commitment flourished. The architecture of emotional intelligence, according to the widely accepted model by Peter Salovey and John Mayer, rests upon four interdependent pillars: emotional perception, accurately recognizing one's own emotions and those of others; emotional facilitation, using emotions to enhance thought; emotional understanding, interpreting the complex meaning of affective states; and emotional regulation, constructively managing one's own and others' emotions. Each of these components represents a skill that can be cultivated through deliberate practice, debunking the myth that emotional intelligence is an innate and immutable gift. Neuroplasticity, that extraordinary capacity of the brain to reorganize itself, allows for the development of these competencies throughout one's entire life. Research with expert meditators conducted at the University of Wisconsin demonstrated that practices such as mindfulness can literally reconfigure neural circuits, strengthening the connections between the amygdala, the center of emotional processing, and the prefrontal cortex, associated with executive control. These structural changes explain why people who systematically cultivate their emotional intelligence show more adaptive responses to stress, a greater capacity to resolve conflicts, and more satisfying interpersonal relationships. Early emotional education plays a fundamental role in the development of these skills. Children who learn to name their emotions accurately, to understand their transitory nature, and to express them constructively, develop an emotional advantage that lasts into adulthood. Programs such as SEL, social and emotional learning, implemented in pioneering schools, have shown remarkable results. A reduction in disruptive behaviors, improvement in academic performance, and the development of social skills that protect against anxiety and depression. These findings suggest that investing in emotional intelligence is not an educational luxury, but an urgent necessity in societies that are increasingly complex and challenging. In the field of leadership, emotional intelligence takes on concrete and powerful forms. Emotionally intelligent leaders possess what Daniel Goleman termed emotional resonance, that ability to tune into the emotional states of their team and guide them toward more productive psychological climates. They create organizational cultures where people feel safe to express concerns, share innovative ideas, and make honest mistakes without fear of ridicule or excessive sanction. This psychological safety, extensively studied by Amy Edmondson of Harvard, correlates directly with greater organizational learning, innovation, and adaptability in the face of change. Emotional intelligence also plays a crucial role in ethics and moral decision-making. Jonathan Haidt, in his work on moral psychology, has shown how emotions such as empathy, indignation, or guilt act as compasses that orient us toward pro-social behaviors. People with high emotional intelligence are better able to perceive the impact of their actions on others, resist the temptations of immediate benefit, and act according to deep values even in the face of contrary pressures. In this sense, cultivating emotional intelligence is also cultivating our shared humanity. In the digital age, where a large part of our interactions occur through screens, emotional intelligence faces new challenges and adaptations. Technology-mediated communication filters out crucial emotional cues, such as tone of voice, posture, or facial expression, increasing the risk of misunderstandings. However, it also offers opportunities to develop new forms of digital empathy and remote emotional awareness. The most innovative organizations are combining the best of technology with meaningful face-to-face encounters, recognizing that certain conversations, especially difficult ones, require the full emotional richness of face-to-face interaction. The cultivation of emotional intelligence represents an endless journey of self-discovery and growth. As the poet Rumi wrote, "Know yourself. Do not remain a stranger to your own soul." In a world of increasing complexity and accelerated change, this emotional wisdom becomes not only a tool for professional success, but a foundation for a life of greater meaning, authentic connection, and lasting well-being. Because in the end, as science has demonstrated and perennial philosophy has confirmed, we are not rational beings who sometimes feel, but emotional beings who sometimes think. And it is in the harmonious integration of these dimensions where we find our best balance.